Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Thursday, May 16th edition of our video devotionals. We appreciate you being with us today and hope your Thursday is going well. And we got a beautiful day here in central North Carolina. The rain has ended for a while, and the sun's out, of course, and just a beautiful day. I think we're going to get enough of a breeze and sunshine to help dry some things up. But I think in the last 2 weeks we've received right at it almost about 7 inches of rain, so it's been quite a bit. But you know how that goes. It don't take much time to go by, and with some heat, that things start to dry up kind of quickly. So we're glad for the water that's in the ground. So this will be good for whales and anything that's obviously got its roots down in the ground. So I think we'll be good for a good while. So we'll thank the Lord for that, of course. All right, so our theme this week has been using the word valor or valiant or valiantly. Today we're going to be in Jeremiah chapter 9. We're going to look at the first 3 verses and to give you something today. And then, of course, tomorrow we'll finish it up. And the only reference in the New Testament that has anything to do with the word valor or valiant or valiantly, there's only one reference. That's over in Hebrews 11. We'll look at that tomorrow. But otherwise, all these are in the Old Testament. But there's some good truths here and good principles that helps us understand this word and what God meant it for us to understand as far as that goes. All right. So before we read, again, thank you for all who watch. Thank you for the responses we get. Of course, there's people that we see from time to time who actually request prayer, and let's think of those and pray for them if you will. And again, always be an attitude and a mode of prayer as best we can. Okay. All right. So Jeremiah chapter 1 says this: "Oh, that my head were waters, and mine eyes a fountain of tears, that I might weep day and night for the slain of the daughter of my people." Now let's just stop here. You probably have heard a preacher say this, but Jeremiah was known as the weeping prophet. And here's one of the references that tells us that, because he lived during the time in which his nation around Israel, Jerusalem, had not fallen yet to Nebuchadnezzar completely, and he lived during that time. Of course, he prophesied that the judgment was here, it was inevitable, it was going to happen, and he was not popular at all. Of all the prophets that we have recorded in the Bible and that God used, Jeremiah was one of the least popular, but his message was profound, and he saw the destruction of the people. He saw what happened to Jerusalem when it fell, and the great carrying away of most of the people into Babylon, which was about 500 miles east. And then there were some people that were left in the land, the poorest of the sort of the people, as the Bible calls it, and says it that way. But the point is, Jeremiah was devastated for his people, devastated that they wouldn't listen to God. Of course, they didn't listen to him, but his message was from God, not from him. And so he was known as the weeping prophet, and that kind of speaks for that there. Now notice verse 2. "Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them. For they be all adulterers, an assembly of treacherous men." Now verse 3 is where we find our key word. "And they bend their tongues like their bow for lies. But they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth, for they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, saith the Lord." So here we find, and this is so really so plain and yet so simple if we'll just grasp it. He said the problem is, of course, is the people have erred from God, and that's expressed here. He says they bend their tongues like the bow for lies. I mean, it was just a bad time. Doesn't it remind us of the things we see in our nation? You watch the news and you can tell there's just obviously deceit and lies that goes on. So there it is. But it says here, "But they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth." So there's a lot of people that they seem to stand for that which is wrong. You see these protests that go on, and people do outrageous things and just change their course of their own life to stand for something that's evil, wrong, and just all the things that proceed from that. And they take a stand like that. But where are the people taking a stand for the truth? Where are the people, as mentioned here, that are valiant for the truth upon the earth? And one of the reasons why, if you look around and think there's less of that than maybe in your lifetime, if you've got any any age on you at all, if you look around and say, man, why does it seem like there's a decline? Well, notice what it says here. For they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, saith the Lord. They know not me. Now there it is. That's why when you hear these devotions, I try to center these around, what thus saith the Lord, the Word of God, and it's real plain here. And when people don't know the Lord, when a family doesn't know the Lord, when a church doesn't know the Lord like they should, you say, how in the world can it be that a church doesn't? Well, there's churches, as we use that word, that have they've got a form, they've got things that goes on, but I feel like there's people that just don't know the Lord. And the simple things like reading the Bible. You can't know the Lord without reading the Bible. I mean, here it describes God. It tells about God. The Spirit of God reveals the things to us from His Word, because they are spirit, and the eternal. They're the words of God. And that's why faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the Word of God. If there seems to be a lack of faith, a lack of living the faith that God has provided, then that's because people do not know the Lord. And then, of course, we think about a nation. A nation is comprised of individuals and families, and we'll say churches and all of that. But the point is, the less people know the Lord, then they're going to be valiant for the truth. You take somebody that stands up for the truth. Look, if you've got a man of God that stands in a pulpit where you attend church, or you've got a family member that's a preacher, a pastor, and he's known for standing for the truth, and he preaches the Word of God, then you ought to be glad for that. There's a reason why he's valiant for the truth, because that's just inherent with knowing the Lord. When you look at the battles that were fought in the Old Testament, you see that fervor, and again, the valor that's there, the strength in the battle, and the going forth in the battle, and God driving that. Then there's a reason why there's people that are valiant for the truth. And that's what we need today. And you can be that as an individual. You can take your stand and be valiant for the truth because you know the Lord. And not just because you say, but because you spend time with the Lord in the Word of God. You spend time with the Lord in prayer. You spend time with the Lord, with God's people at church. That's why it's interesting. No shocker here that you take people that are faithful to the house of God each and every service. If there's a revival that's there, if there's some kind of special thing, hey, if there's a prayer service, whatever it might be, you take the people that are the most faithful, you see these are the people that are most valiant for the truth. And that's because they know the Lord. And we need to continue to know the Lord and know His heart and know His ways. And a people that doesn't know that are just not valiant for the truth. And they can be totally the opposite. Strong for that which is wrong. Strong for that which is even a lie. People that follow deceitful people and deceitful principles. It's just you see that, and people say, well, man, look what kind of stand they take for that. And somehow we think that's noble because of that. But there's no nobility in standing for that which is wrong. But we need people that will stand for the truth, be valiant for the truth. Well, we're going to stop right there. I hope you have a great day, safe day, healthy day, as we say, and enjoy the day. Do what you can. But remember, each and every time as you live your life, there's times you can be valiant for the truth. And that comes from taking in that time you spend with the Lord. And that's very important. So we thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.